Hello, Kaizeners, and welcome to another podcast episode. Today we are doing it in a bit of a different form because we are online, but that has an explanation. We are online because we are with different business units. We are with our colleagues from Kaizen Institute in different countries. With me is János Bartl from Kaizen Institute Hungary, business unit leader. Hi, János, welcome.
Hello, Aleix. Hello, guys.
And also with me is Maciej Pietrula, managing consultant in Kaizen Institute Poland. Hi, Maciej, welcome.
Hi, hello.
So, guys, today we are here to talk about a little bit how we are working with in Kaizen Institute with multinational companies. That's why we have also a panel with colleagues from different countries, and it's important for us because when we are working with our clients, we have a lot of clients that are located in a lot of different places, in different locations. Like it could be in our case in Hungary and in Poland, but not only, normally in much more locations around the world, Asia, Europe, America, and so on. And I think it's one thing that our clients are also looking for when they are working with us or they are looking for our partnership. And I would like to talk a little bit about that, and also so that our audience and also our clients understand a little bit what is the value on that, right? And how are we doing this type of things? Because it's very complex type of doing when we have to work with different locations that speak different languages, that they have different cultures, but at the end of the day, it's the same client. It's one client, right? And they need to have the same type of standards, the same type of culture implemented. So I would like to get started with one question to know your view and how are you doing this with this type of clients and this type of situations, which is how are we doing this worldwide? How are we operating worldwide, right? So how are we doing this to work with a company that operates globally, but then they need to make specific adjustments locally, right? And how do you think, with your experience, that this approach help us actually support multinational clients who need to implement standards across countries while still they need to address specific needs and the realities that they have in each of the local markets that they are based. So tell me, how do you deal with this type of stuff on a daily basis? Maybe I'll start with János from Hungary. János.
Thank you, Aleix. It is a very interesting question because in Hungary we have 2,500 multinational company. It is huge because based on our history, we don't have Hungarian-based multinational company. Many company comes from the Western Europe or all around the world. So it is a big opportunity to us to be a partner in a partnership with them and make a good program with the multinational companies. But first, we need to understand the board or the CEO approaches. So sometimes these CEOs come from other culture, come from other companies, come from other countries, and it is so the global CEO, it's not reachable to us directly. We have to make conversation with the local board members. So the first of all, we need to understand the original targets of the multinational companies, and it could be a good opportunity to us involve the Globális Kaizen Institute and make a strong partnership with the multi-companies. Of course, it could be easy if we have a middle-sized company in the Hungarian market. The owner is still of the parts of the board leadership, and we could make a conversation directly with the owners and with the top management of the companies. First of all, to us, the global bank background is based on this information. How can we understand the approach of the multinational companies? What is the value for that? And of course, to us, it is one point of the global structure is it's important to us. And of course, it is other question: how can we make same delivery, same level of the quality making in the multinational program? It is another question. It could be a topic today to us also. So first of all, we need to understand what is the value for the multinational companies. If it comes from other country, from worldwide, so it could be a support to us. We are a global company also. It much easier to us to understand the value of the customer.
Maybe Maciej, I will turn to you and ask you, what do you think, or in your experience, what is the value that actually is brought to this type of clients from our side?
Well, the first, basically, headquarter wants one standard. So the same KPIs, the same audit checklist, same way of doing things across many plants that are worldwide located. Local plant managers know that a solution that works in, for instance, Poland doesn't automatically work in Hungary or in Germany or in Mexico. So different labor markets, supplier maturity, the plants also maturity, the leadership in the local plants, also regulation, culture of hierarchy. It is the challenges that we are facing looking at the current situation. So it seems like a paradox between global standardization and the local adaptation of this practice. So what the global actually means for us, as I mean about the Kaizen Institute. The first, we have the shared DNA. The Kaizen fundamental, the Gemba, looking at the Gemba, PDCA approach, standard works, of course, respect for people, and also waste elimination, so modal elimination. So they are absolutely non-negotiable and consistent worldwide. So the second, we have the shared quality standard. What does it mean? It is the rigor of our diagnostics, some discipline of our follow-up, and also the way we facilitate workshops look the same everywhere in each plant of location. The third point, we speak a shared language of improvement. A plant director in, for instance, Brazil, another in Hungary, and Poland also can seamlessly compare results using the exact same vocabulary and the same KPIs. So what remains local, however, it is the execution. It is very important point to execute the implementation, the sequence, the piece, the entry point, the change management style is a very important topic. And also the way we engage the shop floor people are all tailored locally. So this is the global approach. But we can also local actually approach. What does it mean? The first, there is the culture and behavior aspect. It is very important because it can be different. From our experience, it is different almost always. So think about how you introduce change. I mean about navigating highly hierarchical structure in some Asian markets versus the much flatter, direct feedback culture of the Northern Europe, for instance. The second is regulatory and labor context. You have to account for works council in Germany, local unions, and specific labor laws that directly impact how you redesign, shift, or change standardized work in local plant. Also, it's important operational maturity, because we have the implementation that the headquarter wants to implement some solution, but in different way, because the different maturity level on each of the plants, even in the same countries. And from my experience, the most important topic is the leadership capability to go to the implementation. So the very important aspect that we need to deal with in each implementation, preparing implementation in the local perspective.
So maybe coming back to summarizing also what you said, Maciej, I mean, there are different factors that are affecting or that we are able to support on a global level, right? When we are working with a client that is located in many different places around the world. But now I want to look at it and I want to ask you also from our side, right? So as Kaizen Institute, I think that one of the advantages that we have also is that we know or we share knowledge across our countries. Like no matter if a project is done in Hungary, no matter if a project is done in Poland or in another country in Europe or around the world, we are able to have those cases as case studies or success stories that we can share, that we can learn from, right? Because we have the connections between us, within our colleagues. And I would like you to share how these international cases, how this expertise that we have in the different areas, in different sectors, even if in a specific country, this sector is not, let's say, a top sector because the economy of that country, for example, doesn't allow it, or is it not a top sector in that country because of history reasons, for example. But how this kind of international expertise and the collaboration that we have between colleagues can actually add value for both multinational but also local clients. How do you see this? Maybe János, I'll go with you again first.
I think my opinion is the case studies is most important parts of the global collaboration, because some sectors, some industry, it could be a brand new to us, and we have to improve our knowledge day by day. So it is a good opportunity to improve our knowledge through of the Global Kaizen organization. And of course, we have European and global business unit meetings, and it is a good platform to make a friendship with our colleagues. So if we have a new company in a new sector or industry, we could contact with our colleagues worldwide directly, like a friends. So we could make short meetings, and we could use the materials of other business unit, and they could help us or each other. So it is a easy way to share our knowledge between us. So it help us to deliver outstanding performance to clients. So it is a most important part of the global organization.
I would add that from our perspective, we have the global playbook. So we have some rules or best practices, as János mentioned, from different countries or plants to be able to implement in other one. So global playbook, but locally deployed. So our standard methodologies and diagnostic framework are built centrally, because it is the one of part of our DNA of the company. However, our local consultant adapt the sequencing and delivery to each client's unique context, the current state of the context that we are starting we will start to implement some solution. So we have the global network having the lot of business cases and experience from different projects, including different industries, with a local presence of our consultant who is able to adapt the methodologies and tools to the current situation on the client side.
Thank you guys for your knowledge and your experience in that, because I think it's a very important point that helps our clients on a global level. Because locally, of course, we have our expertise, but having, for example, what Maciej you were mentioning, right? This global playbook, but then deployed locally, right? What we say as think globally and then act locally to make sure that all these global standards that are implemented or that want to be implemented in a specific company all across their different business units is later, when being implemented locally, all these details of their culture, of the way of doing, of the regulation application, for example, or specific details that this country has in their way of doing or the way that their culture of work is, for example, are taken into account, right? And that is one of the things that help companies. We help companies do and achieve during this type of global implementations or multinational implementations. Guys, to wrap up, maybe I would like to make one last question that summarizes all this what we've been talking about. Because it's true that we as Kaizen Institute, we have a very strong methodology, proven methodology that for more than 40 years now we are applying around the world, no matter the country, right? It's a methodology that is from Japan, so it's already something that is from another country that we took and we are applying to different cultures, different countries, continents, and it's something that we do consistently and that it works. My last question or kind of reflection that I would like your opinion in is why do you think that this combination of global standards, like we were discussing, and local expertise, so having the global standards, but then having the local expertise and the local adjustments are so important for companies to achieve this sustainability that is so difficult, right? Because the methodology, anyone can apply it, but what it makes it completely different is how to make it sustainable and that the results are there for years and not just for days, right? Why do you think that is so important?
I think that it guarantees. Sorry, because I
or Maciej, doesn't matter.
So
go first.
It guarantees the sustainability of result for the clients, to be honest, because there is genuine local ownership. The improvement actually stick long after the consultant leave. There is no risk of slipping back into old habits once the external pressures is off. So it means that the client is able to develop the practice for the future without our presence at the company.
So if we want to reach the outstanding performance, outstanding results, of course we need to use our standards, our legacy. Masaki, my legacy is a most important part of the knowledge, and we need to use the same way anywhere in the world. So it is not a question. The standard is the most important part of the quality. How can you make quality if you don't use the standards and if you don't develop your knowledge to the same level? Of course, but the challenge always the local situation, the local culture. If you want to reach a good results, you have to involve the operators from the Gemba, the company employees. It is totally slice of the country culture. So we have to understand the culture in the countries. After that, we could understand the culture of the companies, and of course, we could make a good solution. We could translate it or transforming the Kaizen methodology to the current state of the companies to understand what we need to change. The first, we need to understand what level they have in this company culture. So if we don't have a same background in the culture, the local, we couldn't understand the situation what the company employees have. So first, of course, we need to understand the culture of the company, and it always based on the culture of the country. So it is an important part, and of course the language barrier always could make more complicated situation. So the original native language could help us to make a good workshop and reach the good results with the employees together. So it is a complex global standard, local experience. So
I would add the topic that you mentioned also, Janusz, that we are talking about the leadership. The leadership is the most important thing that that can be the driver of the changes or block the changes. So it is something like if we would like to start the culture transformation, the leadership is absolutely necessary on each level of the organization, from the top management to the team leader on the shop floor. It is very important things, and having the consultant in the local language and local culture, we are able to evaluate the current state and to adopt methodology and the way to implement the project to be able to develop the skills on from the leadership approach also to be able to go ahead.
Of course, the team leaders to talk about Hansho is a most important part of the organization in the company, and we need to reach this level first with Kaizen and with Kaizen philosophy. So, of course, the employees, including with team leaders, it is a key of the success in the Kaizen story.
I think that when we talk about Kaizen methodology, we have to think that the typical, I would say, structure on a traditional company is the triangle, right? So you will have the management on the top and then the shop floor operators at the bottom. And what we do in Kaizen Institute and with Kaizen methodology is to flip this pyramid or this triangle to over, right? So that the shop floor operators stay at the top and then the management stays at the bottom and is serving leadership, what we call serving leadership, right? So that this leadership serves what the shop floor needs to reach the specific goals that we have. And I'm saying this because when we are going to this type of companies, multinational companies, and we implement this type of pyramid where the shop floor operators are on the top, that means that we need to really understand and work with them on a daily basis, right? And working with them means that we need to understand how they talk to us. So what is the language? How are they referring to their specific culture around them? So we need to understand the culture and also the country's economic environment. So to do this, we need local expertise. It doesn't matter what is the the type of company, in which country it is. Every country will have its own set of specifics, of characteristics that are having impact in that specific culture, whatever is the economical growth of the country, the culture, the language, and so on and so forth. So I think that what you said, just to summarize it, is that without having this local expertise, but having very nice global standards and having a super top-notch structure, methodology, strategy, implementation methodology is not enough, because we are not able to reach those people to make them understand what is value added in that specific work. And for most, I would say, engage them, involve them in those changes, right? If we are not able to connect with those people, then it doesn't matter. So that's why I think also local expertise and local understanding is so important. And that's what we bring in each one of our business units, right? Having also this expertise, global standards, case studies, and knowledge methodologies, and so on. But then you need the specific person on a local level that understands all these factors that are around the company. Janusz, Maciej, thank you very much for being with me today, for talking a little bit about our company and also how are we delivering this type of projects with multinational companies. And I hope I will see you soon, also physically, not just online. But thank you for being here with me.
Thank you, Aleix. Thank you, Maciej.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So for our viewers, we will have more podcasts with multinational guests, also not just from Hungary and Poland, but also from other countries, as we had in the past, maybe in a physical form, maybe in an online form. But yeah, I hope that we will see you soon in the next ones. Thank you.